Friday, everybody. It is time for Cub Chat Live. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm Aaron, and I'm joined by our favorite co-host, Audrey. Audrey's the volunteer chair of the National Cub Scouting Committee. How are you, Audrey?
I'm doing awesome. I'm lovely day.
Yes, it is a lovely day. Happy Arbor Day to you and to everyone
Thank
else.
you.
Audrey, this was your idea for the show today. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, I have to show my fantastic shirt because it's not even on camera. But I'm all dressed for Arbor
I
Day. I've
love it.
got my tree shirt on, my tree earrings. A big passion of mine. I grew up in Oregon, where at a time when we were starting a lot of the conservation sort of movements, and I'm super excited to be talking about it. As Earth Day was last week, Arbor Day is this week, or tomorrow, or today actually. Sorry, and then just all the fantastic things that Cubs can take part of to continue those thoughts and ideas.
April is a great month to talk about conservation. Conservation is really built into the Cub Scout program. You can do it any time of the year you want to. There's lots of different conservation-related adventures, projects, different type things that Cub Scouts can do, both as part of the program and just with their families if they want to for fun. That's what we're going to talk about today. As always, if you have any comments, please join in. What's up, Rob? Rob says hi. Rusty checking in from Pack 84 in New Philadelphia, Ohio. Thank you for watching, Rusty. We appreciate that. Like we said, Arbor Day today, Earth Day last week. We've all got conservation on the mind. What kind of things, give us kind of a general introduction, Audrey, what kind of things can Cub Scouts do to help with conservation with our, planet Earth?
Well, I mean, and that's such an exciting topic. And my shirt says, what a wonderful world. I see trees of green and red roses too, and they're blooming for me and for you. And that's kind of the concept, is that how can we keep that kind of an idea, a wonderful world for not just ourselves, but for our young ones that are growing up right now and into the future. How can we keep those trees growing green, which, do wonderful things for providing oxygen and shelter for nature and shade and, frankly, mental health, as we've gone through some rougher times in the last few years. Getting out in nature and having nature exist is an important part of our mental health. So for Cubs, there are many ways you can do that, and it's exciting to see, as one of our aims is citizenship. And this is one way to show it. And one of our methods is in the outdoors. And so we're very excited to be able to let you know that there are many adventures. Some of them are required adventures, so they're already going to be doing them. And then there are 2 special awards that they can earn, and then a third patch and certificate. So there's some opportunities for recognition as well as you are thinking about these ideas and concepts. And so, yes, thank you. On the screen is just dive right into those. Some of the adventures that you can earn in each grade level, in each rank. And for tigers, you've already done 2, so well done. But I would encourage you to think about some of the other things I'm going to talk about later. Wolves, there are 2 required and 2 elective, so you still have opportunities. And as we're maybe ending our year of advancement and you're looking for some den filler ideas, these would be perfect things to think about. And to think about as you're moving into summer. Maybe you're going to be having events in a local park or a private, like a Rotary or a Lions Park, that you could help improve that area as well. So, because those are areas that you're going to visit outside of your council and or outside of your council facilities, your council camps. And so that's something to keep in mind. So there's still lots of opportunities for everybody to take part in this. Even if there are only required adventures that you've already done, there's going to be more opportunities. So Bear has one, Weebelos has one, Arrow of Light has one also. So there's lots of fun.
Yes,
and there's
I love the way it's. I was just going to say, I love the way
the pictures.
Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay. The picture that she's showing is a fantastic, memory jogger that you have done some of these things and as required adventures, and what they look like as some of the elective adventures.
Very, very cool. Audrey, you and I talked before the show today. The lyrics of the song on your shirt We thought about playing that song, but sometimes Facebook dings us for copyright violations, so we're not going to play it. Audrey, if you want to sing it for us, I'm fine with that. I don't know if you can
Okay,
do a
so
good
I'm
Louis
not
Armstrong
a singer,
impersonation.
but I encourage you to go to YouTube and find it. It's called "It's a Wonderful World," and by Lou Rawls, and there's a couple of great covers of it, and it's one of my favorite songs, and just helps me to be happy and think about the environment and the world that we live in, and how do we preserve that.
Yes, yes, very, very cool. And certainly encourage everybody to look that up. So in addition to the adventures, some of which you said are required adventures, some of which are elective adventures, all of them focused on the environment or on conservation in some way or another. There's also a couple, at least a couple, right, of special awards that Cub Scouts can earn. Audrey, can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, and this is, frankly, this is one of my favorite patches.
It's a great patch, isn't it?
And this logo and icon, which can be represented in different spaces and places. Currently, it's a patch. So I just think it's adorable because the panda, was nearly extinct and now it's recovering. So that's kind of a great concept here on the patch. And of course, this is a Cubs one. There's one for Scouts, BSA also, and older ages. But this is a Cubs one, so it's going to have the blue and gold on there too. So that's an exciting thing. But for this award, it's basically you're doing some things that you may have already done, and then a few more steps. So in Wolf, you've already done the Pause on the Path required adventure. And then there's the Spirit of the Water elective adventure, which you may have already done. And then you add one or two more steps on that, and then you can earn this award. So if you're a den leader or parent looking to maybe fill some time and increase these concepts, the thoughts of conservation and the outdoors and taking care of nature, keeping the world a beautiful place. This is a great opportunity. And over summer break, if packs are looking for things to do, these are some fantastic projects that you can do for multi-dens, as a pack type situation. So so it's a very fun one. It's a very fun one. As you get older, it's quite a bit harder. So the Webelos have about 4 different adventures, but maybe these are things you've already accomplished 1 or 2 in your year, and you only need to finish up a few things. So I would highly encourage you of looking at the website. I think we're going to be putting up here soon. Besides the patch, is there the website, which is where you can get the form to fill out in order to get the patch. There it is,
right there. Yep.
And cool. That has all the details. Obviously, I'm generalizing because I can't go through every single rank.
Right. But I do want to point out one of the things I like about this award, Audrey, and a lot of other awards are like this, is that you will fulfill some of those requirements naturally, just going through the program, right? Going through your adventure requirements, earning, like you said, the Pause on Path adventure. That's the Wolf Scout requirement. For the Bear Scout, it's the Fur, Feathers, and Ferns. So these are adventures that you may have already done. If you're not familiar with the Cub Scout World Conservation Award, check it out, because there's a good chance you're already maybe halfway there, and there's just a couple of extra type projects that you do on top. Am I understanding that correctly, Aubrey?
Yes, absolutely. Because in Cubs, one of the things is citizenship, but we're citizenship in the neighborhood, and so your general neighborhood area, and so you may have already done some of these things in your parks or in your areas through some of the required adventures, and then there's just a few more things to do. And so as a den leader or parent, you'd look at what are those extra things and then work on those in this time. Maybe you've finished and you've got a few extra den meetings and you want to fill those. This is the perfect time to slot some of these in and build life skills that they can carry into adulthood. I mean, the concept of recycling I learned I like 5 or 6 years old when there was no pickup. We had to just separate ourselves and we had to take it somewhere and just do that. So to me, to actually not be able to recycle something, it hurts. It hurts. It's like, oh, that's so wrong. And that is the concepts that are that we're building as good citizenship in them. And we hope that it's that strong of a reaction that that you're not littering and that you're taking care of plants and animals and being respectful in the wilderness, and there's outdoor code and all those kinds of things all coordinate for this concept. But if you do these specific things, it hones in and gets you the world conservation patch. And so it's the idea of thinking locally but acting globally. So all those things add up together to help our world be a better place.
Yeah, it's funny you say recycling. When I was a Cub Scout leader, we had a meeting with our Cub Scout pack where we had a representative from our local city government come in and talk about the recycling program that we do here. And she brought out a big bucket of materials, trash, but it was amazing how much of it. She said, "Can you recycle this? Can you recycle this? Can you recycle this?" And I mean, it was like 75% of it. You don't even think about, yes, that can be recycled. It was really eye-opening, and maybe it left an impact on some of our kids, Audrey, just like you did when you were 6 years old, right? Same kind of impact, we hope. The Cub Scout World Conservation World, there are different requirements for wolf, bear, and webelos. But I think you said additionally, Audrey, that it is possible to do it as a pack, and each age group can do kind of fulfill their own requirements. Is that a possibility, or is this something you would only do?
Right. If you're a creative pack leader, Cub Master, you can put those things together to make the project fulfill multiple requirements for multiple dens. And so that's kind of a fun thing. That's a fun thing to do, to make sure your project has those, so that everybody that attends and has already completed the required things can get the elective things done and earn the award. So yeah.
Very, very cool. And also it's worth mentioning, as Rob mentioned in the comments, there is a version of this award for Scouts BSA. So as the kids get older, it's a little more complicated. I'm sure I'm not familiar with that exactly, Audrey, but
yes,
as they get older, obviously,
merit badges instead of adventures and things like that. So yes, and they're allowed to do more things that our safety guidelines do not allow us to do. They can operate tools and things like that we can't. So ours are neighborhood centered.
Yes. Right. Perfect. Awesome. All right. There's another award called the Messenger of Peace Award, Audrey. Audrey, tell us about that.
Well, this award is a circular award with a dove on it, and it says Messengers of Peace, and it goes around the World Fellowship patch that everybody has on their uniform. And there's a reason for that. It's because this is a world award. This is not from BSA. The World Conservation Award, even though it says the word world in it, is hosted by Scouts BSA. I mean, not Scouts BSA. And this is a world award that is for all the World Scouts. So it could be Scouts Canada, Scouts Mexico. Anybody can earn this award if they are doing the process for the Messengers of Peace, including Cub Scouts. So there is they will be showing later a link on where to find more information on this. But it's a patch, and you can thank you so much. It's designed to help you go through a process, and it's inspire, learn, decide and learn, do it, and then share it. And the sharing part is the part that a lot of us don't do. We need to share it with the rest of your pack, what you did as a den, so they're excited and energized. Or you share it at school, like we did this cool thing that helped the world. And in Cubs, it would be help your neighborhood, help your park, you planted trees or something like that. And yes, exactly. This is a picture of, well, why don't you tell me what this picture is?
Well, I hope maybe those shirts look familiar in that photo there. That was, I'm the photographer. That's why I'm not in this photo. This was a project that our Cub Scout pack did. One of those crazy, this was the silly face photo. We always did the thing, Audrey, I'm sure you guys did it too, where you try to get a decent photo of them. But in order to get them to do that, you've got to say, okay, fine, let's do a silly photo. And in some cases, the silly photo was better. This is one of those. Our neighborhood Cub Scout, you can see Pack 282 there. This sign is actually right down the street from my house out here. So you mentioned local. I mean, I would literally walk to this a couple times a year. We would do it every spring and every fall. And I think our kids and our families, you can see there's parents here as well, took a lot of pride in doing this. Very, very cool. I want to touch on a couple of things real quick, Audrey. The patch that we showed earlier, you said this, but I was today years old when I realized that Messengers of Peace patch, it's a combination of two patches. There's that ring, the white patch around the outside, right? That blue patch in the middle remind me what that is in the middle?
It's actually purple, and it's
Purple. Okay.
the World Brotherhood patch that we all have on all uniforms.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Is
Gotcha.
that it means we're part of the World Organization of the Scouting Movement, WASM, as a lot of people call it. So
Right.
shows brotherhood within that organization, and that we've met certain standards that allow us to be part of that larger movement. And
Yes.
I
And
can't
so,
remember, 179 member nations or something like that. So that's where the millions and millions of scouts all over the world are from. And so this says that we're part of that. And the
I
Messenger of
love
Peace
how the
program,
messages
because
of
it's
peace
world, goes
goes around
around
it.
the
Yeah.
World
So cool.
Brotherhood patch. Mm-hmm.
Just so folks know who are watching, when you go to your Scout shop or go to scoutshop.org to order this, it's two different patches. It looks like one patch here because it's so nicely well
Right,
put
and the
together.
other one should already be on your uniform.
Yes.
So the only thing you're buying or getting is the outside white ring that's purple
Exactly.
and has the dove. And I do admit it's hard to sew on.
Yeah. Yes.
Whoever designed that,
Been
it's
there
quite
and done
pretty,
that as
but
well.
it's kind of hard to sew on.
Yes. If you go to your Scout shop and you're looking for that one and you think, oh, the middle's missing, the middle part is already on the uniform, right, Audrey?
Right.
Yes.
And so this patch wants you to think globally, think about global things, but act locally to preserve and improve our environment. And so this is an idea or a concept that all nations can work together to improve the world, and to improve the world, they think that brings peace. And so united in preserving natural resources and independence within our world environment. So, if you're planting trees, you're helping to reduce pollution, because trees provide oxygen and absorb carbon dioxide and that kind of thing. So that helps the world atmosphere. So it broadens your awareness from local to global, and how is what I'm doing affecting. So like if I'm doing a beach cleanup project, those things that are thrown into the ocean then go into other people's water and ocean and the fish that they're trying to catch. And so all that is interrelated, because we're part of the planet, not just our space in the planet. So yes, the concept that they just had are the 4 steps that you need to do to earn this.
I want to talk about
award.
that a little bit more too, Audrey. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. I like this. This graphic is interesting because it's not numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. It's circular. It goes around a circle. Can you tell us a little bit about which each little spot
you
means?
don't really stop, right?
Mm-hmm,
and that's the concept, is to get you thinking, to always be thinking about it. And so you want to, you get inspired by something, like say maybe I just mentioned I've got my dolphin. So maybe you thought about that, and I live near a beach or a waterway, and I want to help join a local group that's going to do a beach cleanup. Following the safe guide to safety for cubs. That inspires you. So you then learn about that project. Maybe you partner with another organization, the park system or World Conservation or anything like that. And then you decide, and you as a cub are not, you might ask your leader that this is what you want to do. Or if you're a leader, you decide. And then you move to the next step of doing. So maybe your cubs are excited about this and they want to do this. So you go and then you plan the project, you do it, and then you share it. And that's the part that the rest of like a lot of our adventures, we don't ask you to share it. This one you have to share to complete the project. So you need to tell your den about something.
Okay, yeah, who do you share it with?
Right. So you can tell, like if it's your individual den, then you're telling your pack about what you did. You could tell other parents about it. You could tell your friends about it. You could, and then that might inspire them. So the idea is the telling inspires others, and that's where the circle just keeps going.
Very
cool.
If
you're leaders, you could share it with your district or your council about exciting things and other projects to do for conservation. So it's the idea that it doesn't end.
I love it.
But once you do the sharing part, it does end for the patch. Like you don't earn a patch every single one of the projects, but you earn it one time. And then you fill out the logging of the information and your hours that you served, and then you can go get the patch at the Scout Shop.
And I imagine you hope that you will, like you said, inspire the next person. They'll earn the patch too. Maybe then they'll inspire other ones, and it just kind of goes on down.
What makes this one different than the previous one is that it's the concept of continual inspiring and helping the world in general.
And to apply for this award, they go to their local council. Is that right, Audrey?
There's a link right here. It's through our international department area committee.
Okay,
The
gotcha,
name
gotcha, gotcha.
And
Hmm.
there's the information right there. I believe you click on a link and you enter your hours of service, and
Gotcha.
then that's pretty much it. You can go buy a patch.
Awesome, awesome. Very, very cool. One of the things, one of the terms that we use a lot in Cub Scouts is do a good turn. And there's actually a thing called a good turn certificate. Can you tell us about that? What's up with that?
Right, right. And this is something I learned about when I was doing research here because I hadn't really known about this. So there is
Hmm.
a conservation good turn patch and certificate, and there it is. There's the patch. Um, I the certificate is easily accessible. I'm not sure how easily accessible the patch is, but that would be something to find out about. But it's the concept that do a good turn is the slogan. Do a good turn daily, and for
Hmm.
Cub Scouts, we want to do our best. So all that is doing our best for the environment that we're in. And so there's of course a form associated with this and a link, and it gives ideas of how to accomplish this. You might be a similar program that you did was adopting a park, and
Hmm.
you did a street. I think your pack did a street. I
It
think I
was a
remember
street.
seeing the
Yes.
sign. So
Yep.
that's an ongoing thing, and so you would be doing a good turn, maybe not necessarily daily, but multiple times. Your pack goes and
Yep.
cleans up that street with all the safety guidelines in place, and
Exactly.
uh, so there are many ideas, but that would be one of them. And by doing this, you can get this certificate and the patch.
Very,
But
very,
it's
very
supposed to
cool.
be a
So,
meaningful conservation project.
okay,
So
so let's talk about that a little bit more if we could. What is a good conservation project for Cub Scouts? We've talked about the different adventures, we've talked about the awards. So let's say we've got some families out there, some adult leaders who are like, all right, I'm inspired. We've inspired them, Audrey. What kind of thing, what kind of projects do we want them to do?
right. So this is on the emphasis here on this one is on meaningful, where maybe the emphasis on the other one was doing it and sharing it. This one is the meaningful hands-on conservation project. And this, again, you might be joining with other organizations in doing this. And so things that you could do is planting native grasses and shrubs. So I
Yep.
know I've participated in that, and even we potted some seedlings, and then I planted that in my yard, and so that was meaningful. That plant is still there, and it's still a little ecosystem for birds and bees, and there's berries year round, and it's just a fabulous little corner. And so that would
That's
be
awesome.
something meaningful that went on. So planting native species, so that and then you're learning about, why am I planting this? What does it matter?
Mhm.
That I'm planting this kind of grass instead of this other kind of grass. Um, I know that there are movements right now to remove grass strips, sidewalks, if you're an urban group, with permit. I believe you don't need permission if it's your facility, but if it's a facility of somewhere else, you of course need permission. But the sidewalk strip, the grass strip on a sidewalk, is usually owned by the people in front of it to maintain it, and you can plant wildflowers in that space, which can help the natural species of birds and bees and things like that. Of course, you would need to check with any local guidelines in case that is not true, but that is true in many places.
Yep.
There's other things you could participate in recycling program. Like, I got all excited. Maybe you don't have curbside recycling. Where we are, we have curbside recycling where they, you sort it and you take it away. But what does a recycling program look like? And in some states, you can even get a monetary reward for
Hmm.
turning in the recycling. And so maybe that's part of a fundraiser. Maybe that's a dual duty type thing there.
Hmm.
Uh, Natural resource awareness is something that you can do, where a biologist or conservationist or other natural wildlife professional comes in, and they would talk to your units about it. And so that could also be another way that is allowed to talk about ongoing conservation movements. And it's available for Cub Scouts and Webelos. And the Webelos, of course, would be able to do a little bit more than the younger Cub Scouts. And that was a flash of the beginning statements we talked about and what the conservation good turn looks like on there.
Very, very cool. One thing that Audrey said that I can't emphasize enough, you don't just go to a park and start planting plants, right? You need to get permission from the park owner. If it's a public park, go to your city government. There's a great chance that if you, a Cub Scout leader, said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of kids who are eager to help," there's a really good chance they'll have something for you to do, conservation related or environmental related. Other folks you could contact, BSA camp rangers. If there's something in a BSA camp, contact the ranger there, ask what we can do. Your
right, and
local
this
council,
one is
property
different in that it
superintendent.
can be. And this was different because it can be a council place.
Right.
A lot of the awards are for service outside of scouting. So they're service to other organizations, your charter organization or other organizations, parks and things like that are not council owned. But this one, it is allowed to do council conservation projects on a council site. And so that might be a really great thing. I know there's a lot of staff shortages right now and helping make a nature trail or plant vegetation, native vegetation, so that it could be used in the educational uses of the council camp. That would be a fantastic thing.
Excellent. Speaking from experience, Audrey, I'd love to tell stories about back in my Cub Scout later days. We picked up trash one time outside of our elementary school that was nice enough to let us meet there. It didn't occur to me to ask for permission. Found out later that they were very cool with it, but they just want to know about it. So I do say, if you're helping out even your chartered organization, a school, it doesn't hurt to let them know in advance. That was a mistake, rookie Cub Master, I made. It worked out fine, but that's just some advice. Always ask for permission.
Right.
Don't you agree?
And the SAFE acronym use, and that is something you definitely want to check out, because there are also some legal things. Sometimes unions don't allow other people to come in and do their work for them and things like that. On the litter thing, we're in a lot of our states now, we're actually not really encouraging urban city park litter cleanup because of some of the dangers there are now with needles and unsafe spaces. So that, again, you also want to it used to be a really common thing to do. It's something you need to approach with caution, and you certainly should not do it without sturdy gloves or pick up those pickup tools. And so those are some cautions in the modern world that we didn't used to have right now. But if you're at a waterway or beach pickup or things like that, that's less of a concern. So talk to the people who are familiar with that park. And they're the ones who are going to know some of the dangers and things to be aware of. While you're trying to do your good thing, you want to make sure the scouts are all safe and that this is a good thing to do. So honestly, we encourage some of those planting type projects and learning type projects and things like that, rather than massive amounts of litter cleanup. And I don't want to be a negative, but that is a reality we do have to deal with. So use that with caution. That is an option, but use it with caution.
I was just going to say, you really, again, with permission, planting seeds or plants, it's really easy.
Right.
It's not that expensive.
Basically everything you need some awareness and permission, because that land belongs to somebody. Whether it's a park, a state, a national beach shore, private property, all those things.
Right. Yes, totally. Another great place that could maybe use help from a Cub Scout would be like a local park or city square, somewhere that gets a lot of traffic. I often hear about Cub Scout packs that regularly maintain, just a little section of greenery in front of the town hall or whatever it is, somewhere that gets a lot of traffic like that. Your city, your county, whatever it is, would love to have help like that, probably. Great discussion today, Audrey. Why don't you, any final thoughts before we let you go for the day? Love the fact that conservation is built into the program, that it's just a part of what we teach kids on an ongoing basis. Anything else we need to cover today, Audrey?
I just hope people are inspired that this is the perfect time of year. As we have nicer weather, we're able to get out, and maybe we're looking for some things to fill in with a little bit of energy. The scouts have some energy that needs to be used up. So these are perfect ways to channel that, educate that, build those skills for life, so that they can help protect our environment and our world.
Yeah, it's really, that's, the experience of them doing it together as a den or as a pack. It's a really memorable experience. Our kids always look forward to the projects we did together like that. And subconsciously, what you don't realize is that they're learning that these things are important. And as they get
Hmm.
older, they'll keep that in mind. And, when they have kids, when they become Cub Scout leaders, right? These are our future leaders. So it's like that
I
little
had
circle you showed, right?
absolutely. I had my adult son come in, and we were preparing a meal, and he's like, "Well, where's the scrap bucket? Where's the compost bucket?" And so, I mean, they keep you aware if you're not following all the steps. So that I think those are fantastic tools for life, and it's great to see. It's great to see.
Excellent. I agree. Audrey, great discussion today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody who is watching. Appreciate it very much. We'll be back next week with another episode of Cub Chat Live. Good job. Good job, Aubrey. Good job, everybody else. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Bye.
All righty, happy Arbor Day.
Happy